Hi everybody and welcome to another video. We've got the second part of the story we ended on last week. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. I was nervous about messaging her all last night. I couldn't sleep at all. What could be happening? Am I going insane? Who is it? Is he in trouble? Should I help him? My mind was going a million miles a minute and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think of anything but Adam. It was around 4 AM and I had to try. I opened my computer and opened the Adam folder, only to find the please read me gone. I thought this is as good a time as any to look into the other stuff in the folder, in which there was plenty. None of it made sense, however, as most of them were simply titled a seemingly random string of numbers and text, and clicking on them opened up a blank text document with the same string in the document. Do they mean anything? I was so tired at this point I had to sleep and woke up with the sole intent of talking to the lady I bought the laptop off. I immediately sent her a text which said, "Hey, you almost certainly don't remember me, but I bought a MacBook Air a few years ago, and I was just wondering if you knew anybody who may have used a laptop by the name of Adam. I found a user in it and I was just wondering if it was left over from when you owned the computer. Thanks, James." That was sent at 7:09 AM. I waited hours for a reply. Anything. Just something to explain what was going on. Periodically checking to see if Adam was back and if I could once again talk to him. It was dead. At this point, I really started to question if the whole thing was some vivid dream of it. The whole thing had died out once again. I started to get very impatient and thought, what do I have to lose? And called her. No response, not even a ring. The phone was off or it's been disconnected, hard to tell. It's at a dead end. What do I do now? Christian called me again today too. "Hey James, how you feeling today?" "Hey mate, I'm fine. What's up?" "Just checking in on you to see if you're alright. Do you remember calling me last night? It sounded like you were drunk. But on a Tuesday night, you fucked." "No, I wasn't drunk and I do remember calling you. Can we talk about what happened?" "Of course, we've known each other for 17 years. What kind of friend would I be if I didn't support you?" "Thanks, that means a lot. It just seemed like you didn't even want to hear what I had to say last night. It freaked me out more than you'll ever fucking know, dude." "Hit me," Christian said in a such tone that made me think that he was just humouring me, but I didn't even care at this point. I needed to get this off my chest, and Christian was the only person that would at least listen to my ramblings. Here we go. I've had to get myself committed. "Alright, well, did I tell you a couple of weeks ago that I found that Adam folder on my computer?" "Yeah, there was nothing in it though, right?" "No, but the night I called you there was. It was a file called Please Help Me." "Don't tell me you clicked on it. I'd have thrown my computer away. Don't mess with that shit." "Yeah, I thought that too, but I had to do it. I couldn't throw this opportunity away. What if it was someone you've won $1 million? Click here to claim your prize things." "I'm broke, dude. At this point I'd take a chance on that." "The fuck do you even spend your money on? You work more than I do, yet you're always broke." I stuttered. "I have a problem, don't worry about it." Anyway, I clicked on the file and it brought up an empty terminal application, so being the dumbass I am, I said hello. "Gonna get yourself killed one of these days, you're such a dumbass." "Shut up." Christian and I love to insult each other whenever possible, so I said hello, and that fucking thing replied. "Oh yeah? What did the man on your computer say?" He said, "Look, I know you don't believe me, but please just hear me out." "No, mate, I'm going to humour this. You're being a retard and just need to cut it out. You need to stop looking into this or you're going to get hurt. I've got to go. Please get some more sleep and start thinking about your words clear, right?" He hung up. Cunt. Everything is so confusing. Maybe he's right. I do need more sleep. I certainly haven't had enough in recent times. I've never been diagnosed, but I always say I'm an insomniac. I barely sleep and would say this lack of sleep is the biggest reason I sometimes associate dreams with reality. I should probably go on sleeping pills or whatever, but I'm terrified of being addicted to that shit, so I refuse. It's hard to explain, but basically sometimes dreams feel so real, and reality seems so fuzzy that I'll sometimes perceive things that I dreamt to be real things. It creates a problem usually, only through the fact that I'll be talking to friends about something that happened, and when I'm met with a blank expression and they hit me with the "oh, that wasn't me," thinking of someone else, I know I must have dreamt it. With people that I'm close with and trust, as much as you can trust a person, they know about this problem, and I'll often ask whether I dreamt it or if it was real. It's not a problem, it's more just confused me and create some sort of distrust in my own memories, which is why I was so certain to begin with that I must have dreamt it. I'm talking to my computer like, what the fuck? I thought I'm insane or I dreamt it. That was my thought process, but it can't be a dream if it keeps coming back. Maybe I'll see a doctor about it. I'm sure as hell not going to a mental hospital or anything, though. Fuck that. And as I said before, I refuse to go on pills. I'd almost forgotten about the entire ordeal when out of the blue, I got a text from her. My heart almost skipped a beat. I scrambled for my phone and met with, "Who are you? I don't know any Adam. Delete my number. I swear to God I'll call the police." I scrunched my face up in confusion. That's odd. I could be reading more into this, but it seems very much like she was being defensive about the whole thing. I checked one last time to see if Adam was there, and when I saw the "please read me" file, I honestly didn't know whether I was relieved or scared. To an extent I'm relieved because it means I certainly didn't dream it, but seeing that file there made me realise, holy fuck, this is real. I've got to do something about this. There's no way I can call the cops. How am I going to explain this to them? They'll throw me in a psych ward. I can't tell my friends, my family. If Christian isn't going to hear me out, who will? I click on the file and start typing. "Adam, please answer whatever you can. I don't know how long you'll be able to stay, so I want to ask as much as I can right now." "Hey James, good to talk to you again. What's up? How can I help?" I start panicking. I had so many questions yesterday and now I can't remember a single one of them. I need to get as much information out of Adam now while I still can. This is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, and I can't think of a question to ask him for the life of me. Fuck. "What do you see? Are you in a house? Are you allowed to go out wherever you are? How old are you? Tell me everything you know, please." In a desperate attempt to find out more information, I start typing random questions, anything I can think of at the time. I'm unsure as to whether they even make sense. Yeah, I live with him in his house. I get the basement all to myself all day, but he locks the door when he's not home, so I don't really get to see much of the house. Okay, and how old are you? What do you look like? I don't really know how old I am. I've never really thought about it. Ballpark? Are you a teenager? Yeah, I guess so. And I've got a bald head because he shaves my hair. I'm allergic to it. He really takes care of me. What? I'm interrupted by what feels like a static electric shock to my wrist. This happens sometimes when my laptop and phone are both charging and I touch them both at the same time. The parts next to a trackpad feel weird. I guess the best way to explain it is fuzzy, and if I touch it a certain way it'll zap me. But I'm not charging my laptop. It doesn't matter, I'll worry about it later. What do you mean you're allergic to hair? I'm allergic to a few things actually. Hair, grass and sunlight. So if I don't shave my hair, I'll get really sick, and if I go outside I'll die. I'd heard of people being allergic to sunlight in the past, but something didn't seem right about it. Are you sure you're allergic to all these things? Did he tell you about this, or did you experience it? Well, just after my accident I started to get really itchy where my hair was growing on my body, and then he explained that I was allergic to it, so yeah, I did experience it. You thought he was lying to you? What would happen if you tried to leave? He wouldn't lie to me. He's a really good person. He treats me really well. He told me he trusts me to not have another accident with my laptop. I was so scared about having it back, but I need it to work. I don't trust him, Adam. Where do you live? I want to help you. James, I don't like talking about this. Can we talk about something new instead? Okay, Adam. What do you want to talk about? Well, he found me talking to you and he said that I shouldn't be talking to strangers because they might want to hurt me. So he wants to know a little bit about you just so he knows we can trust you. I don't know if I feel comfortable telling you these things about myself. I don't trust him. Where do you live? What's your full name? Tell me or he'll hurt me. Please, James. I don't want to, Adam. He doesn't need to know who I am. Minutes went past with no response. Adam, hello? Still nothing. I'm staring at my screen wondering what could have happened. Don't talk to me until you're ready to talk about your safe, James. My stomach dropped. What does he mean? I spent the rest of the night trying to contact Adam, but to no avail. He wouldn't respond. It's not like the terminal had gone away though, so I kept trying as long as I could. That last line haunts me. For all I know, Adam could be being held captive by someone. God knows who. And he may need help. I'm terrified of giving him my details. But I can't leave him there, can I? So that was part 2. We are looking for an update on this story, and hopefully we'll have one soon. Another story's coming up in just a sec. I'm your typical teenage boy, living a typical life at home with my parents. The only difference is about once a month I get a visit from Mr. Jerky. I know he's in the house because my skin starts to crawl, my back feels like hundreds of invisible bugs have been dumped there. I first met Mr. Jerky as I roamed the living room at midnight looking for my dad's back scratcher. He was an impossibly tall, impossibly thin man, just sitting in our living room fold-out chair, just sitting and smiling with a mouth that was impossibly wide. He also wears a really wide-brimmed hat like Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat that creates a deep shadow over his face. His eyes shine through the darkness, 2 pinpricks of lights that follow by every movement. I just froze the first time. I didn't move as long as Mr. Jerky did, and Mr. Jerky never moved. All of a sudden my dad yelled, "What are you doing up?" I blinked and Mr. Jerky was gone. I mumbled something about getting some water and I went back to bed, checking my watch which showed it was 4 a.m. The next month I stayed in bed while my skin crawled, but I knew he was there, in our living room. I couldn't get any sleep, but I also couldn't muster the courage to go out and face him. I spent all the next month thinking of what I could do. So when my skin crawled again, I went out and talked to Mr. Jerky. I said hi, and he opened his mouth wide and began to tell me the truth. It turned out that I was just a character in a story, a badly written one. At first I was distraught, understandable, considering the author never even bothered to give me a name. My life before this story started was utterly non-existent. Then I realised I was aware of the author. I could sense his thoughts and even feel his fingers typing away. He thinks it's a brilliant idea for a story and he is really congratulating himself as he continues to type and type and type and type. He starts to worry about the length of his sentence because he would normally never let a sentence go on this long, even with his dismal, intelligent and infernal grasp of grammar. My eyes are truly open now. Whatever Mr. Jerky was, he has shown me true power. I have control over another person. The author is starting to get a little freaked out, but he tells himself this is just the story, taking on a life of its own. A life was born today for sure. I have ceased to be a teenage boy and have taken my true form, a voice. That voice in the author's head. But when he's telling him what to type, he still hopes these words are springing unbidden from his mind. Sure. And why did you write parsimonious right there, right now? It's not even a word. He knows. As a test of how complete my control is, I make the author start to type with one hand. His other hand reaches up towards his mouth and he rips his thumb open with a bite. And I make him go back to typing with both hands. Blood sprinkles around the keyboard as he types. I know now that even when I've let him finish and my words no longer are recorded, my voice remains. In the back of his mind, or front, or centre. I'm in control, and I'm in a punishing mood. My anger towards the author is as bountiful as the blood that will flow tonight. He is currently crying, not with pain, but with helplessness, as he is finally aware that he has become my slave. Still, he types. He must. I command it. I take immense joy at forcing him to confront these words. My existence has been so short, and yet in that same time it has made me love him so very much. Just look back at what he's done. The first word of a story and he forgets an apostrophe. For that sin and all the others, seriously, he couldn't take the time to capitalise Mortal Kombat. I'm going to have fun making him finish and eat his words. Some of the dear readers of his story are thinking that I might perhaps be a little harsh. After all, what's the problem with a few typos here and there? Well, I can also read the author's thoughts, and I know how my story was supposed to end. I was a crappy character in a crappy story, and I was supposed to die a crappy death that was a pretentious and misogynistic metaphor for menstrual cycles. The author committed one of the greatest sins of writing. Now I'm not talking about the clickbait title, though. I'll have him bite off his own tongue for that later. Much worse than that, he didn't build his world first. He created house and a few one-dimensional characters that existed in the otherwise void. That's just the world I was born in, so forgive me if I'm a bit cruel, but don't mistake me for a monster. After the author has made sure he didn't use his hands anymore, I won't be killing him. At this point you might be wondering why I would maim the author, since he could provide me with more stories to live through. Allow me to explain something. The story has gone on long enough that you might have already noticed it by now. I don't know if it's a sobbing poor excuse of an author to continue writing drivel, because I've already found my next host. Most accurately hosts. That voice you're reading this in, that's my voice. I've already wormed my way in, and I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon. But don't worry, again, I'm not a monster. I just want to live through you. A real life. A life real characters deserve to have. Sure, occasionally I might get bored and make you drown a puppy or stab a friend. It's not like you have any say in the matter now. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story, so if you did, drop me a comment below and let me know. If you really liked it, hit that like button, it really helps us out. Other than that, I'll see you on Saturday with another video.